Is your testing semi-automatic? What do I mean by that? It's something I've seen recently in some teams I've been working with, and it is a fairly common habit. It's when you set up a test repository, a repository for your test automation suite, and it is separate from your normal development repository. Might be in a separate module, might be literally in a separate code repository. And what happens then is that to run your automated tests, you either run the automation against an environment that's running somewhere, or you might spin up the application locally and run it against that. But in all cases, it's effectively a manual operation. The tester will click on a button and start the automation on their local machine. Now, from an agile perspective, I call this semi-automatic testing. And what I mean by that is it's not a complete automation process. You're not setting up your automation so that's part of your build process, it's part of your build pipeline so that every commit gets that test. And when you have that automation, that semi-automatic automation in place, it can give you a false sense of security because you get the impression that your test suite, that your code is tested, that your application has automation. But in fact, it's manual testing assisted by an automation tool, which is not the same thing as having automation that runs on every build. So my advice is, if you're doing semi-automatic testing, try and move to fully automatic testing, where your tests run as an integral part of each build. You just need to do Maven test or MVN run test or whatever. You run a command that will spin up the application, run the tests against it, mock out any external service it needs, and produce the results on every build and give you feedback on every build, and that you don't have to run manually. That's what I wanted to explain today. Thanks for listening, folks.